Welcome to Absolute Comics. My name is Benny, that is Sal, and this is the weekly show we get together on a Tuesday at about 5 p.m. Eastern to chit-chat about the latest comic book news. And I just gotta say, Sal, we've been doing this forever, and now you discovered how to make your some depth going on. What's going on with the set, man?
I love it. I'm just happy with to show off some of the studio and clean things up. I'm sick of the fluorescent bulbs. I mean, they're still on, but I'm turning them off during these kind of shows.
I wanted to comment on it because so many people during our previous recording were commenting on it. So
oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they might have noticed. I mean, and if they did, thank you for recognizing some effort. You know,
Sal, you look 20 years younger.
Well, that's 20 years. Thank you.
Yeah.
So wow. Well, I'm a child then. All right. I don't think that's true, but thank you.
All right. Have you read any comic books lately? I finished some Dark Ages, and that was not good. No,
it was not. I mean, I liked it, but it was like they ruined it. You know, they clearly were 6 issues. Give me a break. There's no way.
What I think was going on. This is my personal tinfoil hat theory. Mm-hmm. This was going to be Marvel's Deceased.
Yeah.
Tom Taylor signed with DC early on, and they already signed him on for the test bed, the 6 issues.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But then he signed up with DC, and it's like, well, this is as far as it's going to go.
Yeah, so. That's right. And he was like, well, bye.
Because it's such a cliffhanger. They wide open for a sequel.
They crammed 4 issues of stuff into Dark Ages #6.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was so disappointed because you're building up, and they're like, oh, it is dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
Like,
it's over.
Yeah, it's over now.
Like, cool. I have not yet read Beyond the White Knight. How would you like it?
I still haven't read that. I haven't opened up on my tablet.
I know. I got it too.
I was catching up with Robin to read the beginning of the Shadow War, which Dan hit me up, and he was all like, "Oh my God, Shadow War!" And I'm like, "Shadow War."
I also read Shadow War Alpha as well, and I dug it. I was like, "This is cool." Okay,
I think it's cool, but the way he was hyping it, I thought something huge happened. Dan is shaking his head. Hold on. Did you or did you not hit me up and go?
Yes, but here's the thing, Benny. An opinion is an opinion, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
All I said was you overhyped it on me. You overhyped it for me. I was expecting Batman to die.
Just had too high expectations.
Oh, so I'm the internet now. Cool. Yeah. All right, bye, Dan. No, it's the way he hyped it up. I thought it's cool. I mean, the beginning opens up with Ra's al Ghul passing. That wasn't that shocking to me because of all the people to let die.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He'll be back in a year, 2, 3, 3 max, 3 max.
Maybe 10. Nobody cares. Like,
maybe the end of the series.
Yeah. Right. No, nobody's using him for anything, so they can leave him. He wasn't. I remember when he came back recently, and I was like, oh, okay. You know,
he showed up at the Robin book, and it's like, oh, he's just over here now. I'm like,
right, he's just over there. Like, okay, whatever.
I liked Deathstroke being in it though, but I did like the twist that it wasn't Deathstroke.
I like Deathstroke being like, I haven't dressed like that in years, and I'm like, you know, that's funny. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even think about it, but yeah, I was really happy to see him in the classic outfit.
I didn't think about it until he showed up, and then he said it, and I'm like, well, he's not wrong. He hasn't. Like, he's been
right.
Good, half bad. Like,
that's right. And then the question is, who is he? Because it has to be somebody cool.
Of course.
I liked. I enjoyed Hulk 5.
I don't know. I don't know if I read 4 or 5. The one I read ended with the Spider-Man show.
Yeah, that was 4. But number 5 is when he fights him.
Is it fun?
I think it's fun.
Does my theory hold that Cage just basically made his own Marvel universe for Hulk to play in, and that he just took
more or less. He is still doing that, but it's he's setting up more stuff. This arc will wrap up in the next issue. And then we'll see what happens next. But there's a twist, kind of with respect to another character in the book. But it's not. It has nothing to do with the Ross, Gamma plan. Although that is also a big thing. So yeah, I mean they're playing with it, but it's less about who's the next gamma irradiated hero from that universe to fight Hulk. It's more about I don't know what the hell it's about. It's just about slugfests.
I will see. I'm on board still, but I mean. Yeah. Every day that I check Donny Cates' Twitter, it's just him complaining because nobody likes it. So we'll see.
People are still buying it. So
I mean, people are buying it, and I'm enjoying it. I get what you're going for. I mean, look at the end of the day, no matter what Donny Cates did, Immortal Hulk was a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it was Ewing, right, that did that one.
Yeah.
I almost feel like because the way it ended was kind of lackluster for me. I almost feel like Al Ewing couldn't follow up Immortal Hulk's concept.
No. No,
He
it
built
really,
up so much, and it was just
Yeah.
like, and it's gotta end.
well,
Like,
and now it's over, and
Yeah.
then what are you going to have him do? Like, be smart and hang out with Betty? Like, no, you can't. Like, what can you do? So do something way different. Like this Smashtronaut is silly as hell, but like,
yeah,
I'll be damned if I'm not reading every issue. Like, I
I
really
am.
am.
I
Like,
want to see what he's gonna punch next. Like,
yeah, yeah. Plus, like, you're delivering on some stuff that you want to see. You know, like Hulk versus Marvel Zombies, Hulk versus like all the demons in hell, Hulk versus all the gods, like Hulk versus Wolverine if he was
Yep.
10 stories tall. Like, there's some cool
if he was
stuff in
10
there.
stories tall.
Yeah.
The only thing that bothers me is the design. I think ultimately the spaceship Hulk idea and design. I just don't.
He
like.
he looks very silly, but like it will. There's something important about like stamping your work and being like, this is that era. Like, you will never forget that. Like, that's what Hulk looked like during this period for a minute.
Well, I mean, it's no different than Hulk during the Immortal Hulk series. We'll always know that goopy looking weird Hulk as Hulk.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
Yeah, Hulk with bandoliers, 90s Hulk, you know, like you'll never forget. So
outside of that, I did wrap up Beyond, and I did find it hilarious because we didn't talk about this anywhere here. I know you dislike it. Okay, look, here's my stance. I tweeted out that I actually enjoyed the arc, and the amount of people that thought that it was an April Fool's joke was hilarious. So many people followed up the tweet like, guys, he's tweeting this on April Fool's. Like,
right, he loved it. Yeah, sure.
No, I
But
legit
you did enjoy it.
I did actually enjoy it. Sal and I have disagreed about this since the beginning.
Yeah.
I understand 100% the complaints that why the hell are we doing this to Ben Reilly again?
Yeah.
I get that. I do. Okay. As a Ben Reilly fan from the 90s, Scarlet Spider with the jean jacket, why are we tearing down this hero for the 90th time just to make him into a villain for the 90th time and now make him goopy Venom like?
Yeah. It's weird because people were complaining when we were reviewing it the other day about how you know, like Marvel hates Ben Reilly, and I'm like, you know, for a company that hates this character, they sure use him a lot. You know, like if they hated him, they wouldn't use him. They'd be like, you know who they hate? Speedball. You know who they hate? That new Warriors team. Like, things that never come up. You know, like they let them sit in the box and gather dust and live in obscurity. But for some reason, somebody upstairs is like, Ben Reilly though. Like every 2 years. They go, let's do something with Ben Reilly again. And it's like, somebody likes him. And I think that the way that, like, now that I'm thinking about it, you know, as much as I would have rather had Ben Reilly and Janine getting on a motorcycle and drive to the West Coast and become like West Coast Spider-Man, or as Jeff Thorne suggested that he become Ben Reilly, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I love that one too. This way, by making him Chasm, he has to be addressed. Like, you are setting it up so that like he has to be a toy you grab out of the box at some point.
Yeah.
You know, if you make him like work in a lab and be a regular person, and he puts on his classic hoodie when he needs to help people, or he works in a diner or something, you know, like you could just forget about that. But if it's so bold and so obvious that it's like new costume, new powers, new status quo, I don't even know what he's doing.
Well,
then
so
you're giving someone an opportunity to tell a story with him.
I have a tinfoil hat here theory as to why they're doing this to him.
Yeah.
Okay. And I agree with you, actually. It's going to end with the same answer. Someone likes Ben Reilly. Somebody wants him around. The problem is, whenever they've tried to just make Ben Reilly normal, he either gets way too compared to Peter Parker, and nobody buys the book. That's the big issue. Look at the beginning of Spider-Man Beyond. They had like 10 issues of him just being Spider-Man.
Right.
And no one bought the book.
Right.
That's not the first... That's not the first time they've done that.
No, people were confused. They're like, why is this a thing? Like, why are you doing this? And some people were happy to have him be Spider-Man because they've been waiting for 25 years for him to be Spider-Man again. But like, there was no justification for it. It just came completely out of left field. He's Spider-Man now. And they gave you that.
Yeah.
Like, he had all his memories. He remembers being Peter Parker. He has all the experiences. He's Ben Reilly. And they removed the parts you didn't like from Clone Conspiracy. Like, they literally removed those memories.
Yeah. So he didn't know them. That's where he's in the boat he's in now. But
exactly.
The issue is, because every time they've tried to make him somewhat heroic, or they try to do things with him that has been kind of heroic,
yeah,
no one buys into it. Or no, like when he came back for Spider-Verse and no one cared.
Right.
And then the counterpoint is always, well, we have Kane. Kane's the badass Spider-Man. That's kind of a problem. But here's the issue.
They hate Kane. They hate
Right.
Kane.
I think
Because
the problem
Kane
is
nothing.
and that's the issue. People know Ben Reilly.
Yeah.
No one knows Kane
Yeah.
except us Spider-Man fans. So I
Right.
think Marvel's like, okay, so we got Kane. He's the badass Spider-Man, but no one knows who that is. They want
Right.
Superior Octopus, but that causes problems in the long term.
Badass Spider-Man is Doc Ock now.
Yeah.
Like, he is the most successful evil Spider or dark Spider-Man now.
Yeah. So I think the issue that they've run into is Doc Ock is the most successful one. No one still knows who Kane is. They tried to make Kane a thing with Ben Reilly when he was on his redemption arc.
Well, before that, when Kane had his own book, it was Scarlet Spider, and it sold abysmally.
Yeah. I think the issue is they've what I think is going on is they've shelved Kane and they've shelved Superior Octopus because they've tried every reinvention to bring back what they had, which you and I both said the problem is you waited way too long.
They waited too long, and they didn't double down when they had the opportunity to do it. That was the biggest problem.
So what I think is going on now is they're like, okay, well, people know the name Ben Reilly, and we need a badass Spider-Man. Make him into one. And I feel like they're trying to fill the void left by Venom.
Yeah,
because Spider-Man doesn't have Venom anymore.
No,
like at least early on, Eddie Brock would still be a thorn in Peter Parker's side, and then when it was Flash Thompson, they had that back and forth. Ever since Donny Cates took over on Venom, they don't interact at all. Like it's
that's over.
Done. Yeah.
Spider-Man is not connected to Venom anymore, and that could be Sony, or that could just be the evolution of Venom. Like it's just we can never go home again. It's over. Venom is no longer a Spider-Man villain. Moving on.
So we need something similar, and you can't keep pulling Carnage out because we killed
Carnage
him 8 times.
Diminishing returns for Carnage, man. It just doesn't work. But yeah, so I think you're right. I think Ben Reilly is the new Venom, or could be.
Yeah, they got rid of Kane. Kane, I think, is done, and I think Superior Octopus is done, unless we have a reason to really bring them back. I think Ben Reilly is the Venom replacement, the badass Spider-Man replacement, because he's getting his own book now as Chasm.
Is he getting his own book?
Yeah, supposedly. It was supposed to. That's what I heard. He's getting his own book.
I haven't heard anything. I just saw the picture and I was like, "This is stupid." We'll see.
I mean, I'm gonna see if it's coming back. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's getting his own book now. Yep, Ben Reilly Spider-Man. No, that was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
They put the name on too many things now.
Yeah, it's true.
But I'm pretty sure he's getting his own book now. So I think that's the answer. We have a badass Spider-Man who can now also be a thorn in Peter's side because they have something against each other. And that something is Ben Reilly's missing memories again.
Yeah.
So it's not drastic. They can work together. But Ben Reilly has a reason to hate on Spider-Man. You know what I mean? That's what I think it is.
Right. You stole my memories. Yeah. Stupid.
So I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting direction to take. I just liked it better when Ben Reilly was the new Spider-Man. Like they were basically doing Parker Industries again, but it wasn't him in charge. We had Parker Industries, but he was being forced to work for a company, and it was Ben Reilly. I was like, this is fun. I'm having fun, and we get to see how Ben Reilly's reaction to everything is. So
yeah, that's fair.
And they tried it for a little while. Like he fought core villains,
right?
Raven, Doc Ock. Like it was like, okay, this is working. It's working. Oh, we're ending it. Okay, cool. Like, okay, bye.
Right. Because the whole thing was basically like a tryout. Like, which one of you will be writing Spider-Man full time?
Yeah, I think you're right. Was it Zeb Wells won? Right, he won the contest.
Zeb Wells won. You won the contest. You are now the Spider-Man writer. You get John Romita Jr. You're welcome.
So that's that. Moving on to the next. Moving on to the actual news now. Unless you got a book you want to talk about, because those are the biggest ones I've read. I've read a lot of manga this week, so we don't talk about that here. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just going to be me going, so Sal, here's another one I read that's cover has a girl that's half naked, and here's the stuff she was doing. And then here's this one about a guy slicing another guy's head off, and the cover is a girl that's half naked. And
it's like, okay, well, yeah.
Sal, are you sensing a trend on my manga purchases?
I do. Yeah, I noticed the trend. It's interesting. It's fascinating.
So Miss Marvel TV show has been rated TV PG, which will make it the first Disney Plus Marvel series with the PG rating. I didn't know nor care.
Didn't care, but also not surprised in the least. It makes
you and I have called it for a while that it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
For those who are wondering why we didn't do the trailer review, it's because it's a kid's show.
It's like it would be creepy. It would be like us reviewing the new iCarly show. Like it's just we're not gonna do that.
Actually,
because
the new iCarly shows them as adults and dealing with.
I know, but I'm just saying. But I think it's not. Or the Girl Meets World show, and that was a thing. Remember that
one? I'll give you that would be more because that one was an attempt at making iCarly was an attempt to make the old iCarly fans
Right,
see
it's
what has
her-
happened to Carly. Yeah, like
exactly. Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I got stuck in
No.
this weird YouTuber channel who was reviewing all these revives, and I'm like, I never even watched the original iCarly. I wonder what it has to say with the new
Right.
one.
Why am I watching you?
Yeah, why am
But
I
have
watching this?
But why have I watched 12 episodes? I guess I'm an iCarly fan now. I always liked the idea of iCarly, but I was too old. I was like, nah, I'm not.
No,
I'm not
it came out
involved.
at that weird time. It's like for me when and I'm gonna get crap, but I've said it before. I never fully watched all of the Clone Wars animated series because it dropped
That's
at a
right.
time when I could not watch it. So
Yeah.
now I've just seen the key episodes that are important, and I've dropped the series outside of that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rebels is the same way. I've only watched the episodes where they did cool stuff.
Right. The ones where Vader's in them. Yeah.
Yeah, Vader and Ahsoka. Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I just watched YouTube clips of it. I mean, I watched the first season of Rebels. I was like, sweet, yeah. And then I just found other things to do, and I'm like, I don't care anymore.
So
Anyway,
yeah, no, that's basically it. I agree.
so I mean, good for them. You know, I think it's smart. Like, I don't know if I care. You know, first of all, Ms. Marvel isn't my favorite superhero. But I do think there's like she's an important character that I think should be like a YA Marvel gateway character.
100%. Yep.
And you know why?
Marvel
ladies and
doesn't
gentlemen?
have it anymore. They aged Parker too much, and they can't go back.
No, and they shouldn't go back. The other thing
No.
is like if you want characters like Ms. Marvel and Sam Alexander Nova to be like the YA superheroes, because then they'll leave your superheroes alone.
Oh, that's what I never understood. Like, okay, so we're gonna talk about this real quick because I found it hilarious. And Sal already knows a little bit about the story, but I'm gonna put it up here.
Mhm.
So I've been covering Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil
Yes.
over here. This is similar, but not the same situation because it's not a new kid taking a mantle. But yes, I agree. Sam Alexander Nova should be the YA Nova so that we can keep Richard Rider going.
Yeah.
You know, Ms. Marvel should be there so we can keep Captain Marvel and stuff like that going.
Exactly.
But to talk about people swapping out mantles, the Chip Zdarsky story is all about Daredevil quitting as Daredevil, if you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The concept is that Daredevil accidentally kills a man because he's gotten a little rusty, and his guilt drives him to quit being Daredevil. What happens in that time frame is the city of New York and Hell's Kitchen steps up and becomes Daredevil. But that leads to civilians dying because they're not Daredevil. Like,
Yeah.
that's the plot. In the middle of this, Elektra shows up, and this is like 25 issues. This is wholly built up, okay?
Yep, completely.
And she comes in as Elektra and tells Matt what he's doing wrong, and his response is, I'm not working with you, and I'm not dealing with you.
Right.
And what she needs is she's setting up a separate thing, so she needs Matt. So to convince Matt to join her, she decides to steal money, buy all of Hell's Kitchen, and let Matt go to prison because that's what he needs to get through this. And the reason he wasn't doing it is because there would be no Daredevil, and he did not want civilians to die.
Mm-hmm.
So Elektra, without even hiding her identity, she's literally going around saying, I am Elektra.
I'm Elektra.
I'm Elektra. That's who I am. Puts on a Daredevil outfit to be the new Daredevil so that Matt can go to prison guilt-free, knowing Hell's Kitchen is safe.
Yeah.
And she's doing it as a way to prove to Matt she's willing to live by his code.
Yeah.
That is the plot. Like 23, she's officially Daredevil, or her version.
Yes.
I put out 2 videos of featuring her as Daredevil and Matt in prison, going to prison.
Yeah, because the idea is he legally is like, I'm Daredevil was arrested. Like, that way I can keep my identity, but like we can establish a precedent that like superheroes can, like, their identities can be arrested.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he goes to prison and she's in charge. I do 2 full videos where she's Daredevil. No one comments other than the one obscure thing here and there of like, when did Daredevil get a gender swap or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I put up and we finally get to a story that is an Elektra Daredevil story.
Yeah.
Put up the image of Elektra Daredevil, and I title it The New Daredevil finally. Now, this is after she has been doing it. I've just had better clickbait before this. It was like, Daredevil gets a Venom symbiote. Daredevil fights all of Hell's Kitchen. Like, all of that was much better than The New Daredevil. Like,
right, of course.
And the amount of comments that came in immediately to shit on gender swapped heroes.
SJW, you ruined Daredevil. Why do they make everyone a woman? Blah, 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 blah. Like, well, because they get their marching orders from like another source who just like goes, fly, my pretties, fly.
Yep.
Anytime that it like cosmetically addresses the thing that we argue that we hate, you have to brigadier and jump on board and complain. Like, great.
And it's going in line with people complaining about Sam Alexander Nova and complaining about it. You don't know what's happening. But the reason I'm bringing this is the biggest example of not knowing what is going on and just jumping in and showing me you're not reading the comics or even watching the video I made related to this.
That's right. No, well, like facts have no place within my argument.
So I made that post being like the amount of people that came out of the woodwork who quite obviously have not read this book to understand why Elektra is Daredevil, or even watched my videos where I've explained why she's Daredevil, is funny and ridiculous. And then that led to a lot of comments that were like, well, I'm just on the SJW side and I'm a terrible human being. But my favorite was somebody jumping in thinking that they were going to be slick. Well, fine. I see what you're talking about. How about we try a different argument? This is a disservice to her and the patriarchy because you're removing Elektra as a character and not allowing her to stand on her own and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I didn't respond because I'm like, you also have not read the story. You're like,
right. Okay. Well, since you called out my point and I can't possibly defend myself, how about we have a different conversation entirely?
Which you have not proven me wrong, because if you had seen the story, her becoming Elektra. Also, this story came out a year ago. Like, this isn't a
you
new
had a year to find out that this was a thing.
You could go buy the follow-up issues and see if she stays Daredevil. Because surprise, Matt's back at the next, not this episode, the next week's one.
Yep.
Like, she wasn't even the Daredevil for that long.
No. Yeah, I mean, she did get a 3-issue miniseries afterwards, but again, all she did was fight Craven. Like, there's nothing there.
Which was cool and awesome, but at the same time, you're all trying to fight with me about like a 10-issue segment that Chip Zdarsky did where she was Daredevil to prove a point.
Yeah.
While going around telling everyone, no, I'm Elektra.
Yeah, and you have to admit the costume looks dope, and that's why it's there.
Awesome.
That's half the reason it's the thing. Because like you could, if this story had been made 25, 30 years ago, it would have just been Elektra filling in for Daredevil. Like, she wouldn't have dressed like Daredevil. It would have just been Elektra guarding Hell's Kitchen. But it's awesome looking. So let's do this. Like, who cares? It's just weird.
That's what I've always loved about comic books, the designs and things like that. But like, what blows my mind about the audience that is like, screw Miss Marvel. I want classic Miss Marvel in her leotard. Screw Sam Alexander. I want Richard Rider.
Mm-hmm.
One, you're allowing stories to evolve and change and talk about characters like Elektra evolving to the next step.
Yep.
2, you're allowing a younger audience to have heroes so that you can keep your heroes. Sam Alexander doesn't replace Richard Rider unless nobody wants to write a Richard Rider story. It's not like Marvel has like an influx of amazing Richard Rider stories, and that's why Sam Alexander got the bump up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They obviously didn't get a pitch they liked. Does anybody out there really think that Marvel just isn't willing to publish umpteen billion books?
Marvel does do that, but they're also going to sell books they think will sell or make them money in some other bracket. Like, they're not just Marvel has a brilliant strategy where they do just flood the market. Like, Marvel will always produce more books than DC, just so that you see more Marvel books when you're looking at the shelf. But they also try to produce books that they think will also sell, not just like, well, crap, we have to make sure we produce 25% more like books than DC, and who cares what they are? So let's see what fandoms are being neglected or abused, and then give them what they want. Like, that's not how it works.
You want to know what the best part before we move topics here on this?
Yeah.
I just told the whole story and why I just find all those people that went crazy on the Daredevil video funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
I bet you $5 I'm going to get a tweet after this, either jumping the conversation or trying to still be stuff like, oh, what? No, you don't get it, man. Elektra, blah, blah. No, I'm going to get something else. Or they're going to move it to another superhero to try and just to punctuate their point.
Well, they're going to go.
Here's the kicker. I haven't called anyone out individual, but someone watching this feels I did, and they're going to tweet me.
Oh yeah. They're going to. I'm insane.
Oh my God, Benny! How dare you?
Yeah. Okay. I'll continue to do this for a living. Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for watching the video so you can complain. I appreciate that.
Watch the whole thing, though.
My ad rates are loving you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right. Next up, we haven't even started really, and we're way over time now.
Yep. James Gunn tweeted out that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has officially passed the world record for most makeup appliances created for a single production, a record previously held by The Grinch. So expect a whole lot of practical effects in this upcoming film.
I also want to add to this, because he confirmed something. One of those news outlets picked up that Vin Diesel and who's the actor that plays the raccoon?
James Gunn's brother.
No. The actual voice.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. He tweeted out that the tweet was that James Gunn said that they are not in a Guardians 3. He copied that tweet, retweeted, and said, "No, what I said was they've not been on the set for Guardians 3, and any idiot would know what I meant."
There you go.
Because the voice actors, they're not. Why would they be on the set unless they've just happened to be in town and are bored? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not going to pay Vin Diesel rates for him to wear a mocap suit and just say 3 freaking words.
Yeah. So I just found that hilarious because I love following James Gunn because he'll dispute any incorrect fact all the time. They just no, I never said that. No, that's not true. Like,
yeah. Is there anything you think, because James Gunn, number one, he's leaving Marvel, he's doing whatever he's doing whatever he wants. He's the golden boy at DC. This is his final Guardians of the Galaxy. We got a lot of fun, crazy cameos in Guardians 2. Like, we got Watchers for the first time. We got a lot of like references and stuff. We got not the Starjammers, but the Ravagers. But like, we got a ton of references and cameos and stuff. Do you think Gunn's going to go for broke on this one and just be like, everything's in it? I'll put in things we can't even use. And I
think he's all in on WB at this point. They're letting him do whatever he wants. Marvel already proved that they're not afraid to fire him. Yep. I feel like he's going to go for broke, end this, call it a day, get out of the Marvel.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see Galactus or some other epic, like, commonly known cosmic character that hasn't yet been in the MCU? I
think we will if Marvel lets him do it. I don't think he's going to slip something in, though, at this point.
Because I'm thinking we're going to get something big. I think, like, whether it's like a Watchers-esque cameo, like Galactus will show up or be referenced by name, but, like, I think we're getting, like, Phoenixes and Galacta and Galacti. I think we're getting it all.
I mean, it's cool. I'm not against it, but
right.
I think Disney still has a nice iron grip on things. So
I think they do, but also they don't care about space anymore. They're like, we're kind of done with space.
I can see that. I thought, well, wasn't the original idea was that they were going to separate into like more grounded stuff and more space stuff, but we haven't seen any of the space stuff.
Well, we saw it in the post-credit scene for Eternals, and that movie didn't make any money. So,
everyone says that movie did well.
We loved the movie. I'm on
your side. Dylan's not gonna. That's what Dylan was wrong.
I gotta tell you, man. No, I loved Eternals.
It doubled its budget. It made $400 million. Apparently, that's bad in movie terms now.
No, it's just
no. I know what you're. I know what the internet's saying. It's like,
no, it needs to make at least twice. Yeah, it needs to make at least twice what it cost.
It did.
There you go.
$200 million budget, $402 million earned.
There you go. During a pandemic, not bad, especially for a movie that like half the audience would enjoy. But hey, Pip the Troll, Star Fox, and crap. Oh, and like I think we're sowing the seeds for Galactus. So yeah,
we've got to be sowing the seeds. Now, my question for you is: do you think they're going to make Galactus the Cloud or the Guy?
Oh, Guy. It got to go Guy.
What if they go Cloud?
Then I will be disappointed. No, I think if anything, it's going to be either like they're going to say Galactus is a Celestial because that's what they say for everything.
That. Yeah,
because
the movies like to kind of like simplify things, which I'm not against because comic books in general are just getting very like if you ever really want to be confused, start looking at Heaven and Hell in DC.
Right. Yeah. How many devils are there?
Way too many.
More than one.
In Marvel, it's Mephisto and others.
Right. Well, and the devil. Like the devil's
Mephisto
is not the devil. But anyway, all right.
Next up, we got, even though we can no longer trust actors' words on whether or not they are in a Marvel movie. Thank you, Dan, for writing it that way. X-Men Cyclops actor James Marsden reveals he's not going to be returning as Cyclops in the Multiverse of Madness. A question asked after the reveal of Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Well, if that's true, if that's accurate, then half the rumors I've read are wrong.
Right. Honestly, I would not be surprised. I would be very surprised if I saw Cyclops in Doctor Strange 2.
You know what I'd be more surprised by? James Marsden talking to Sonic in Doctor Strange 2.
Well, that would be, that would be more inter-studio synergy. If Disney owned it, then I'd be like, yeah, maybe Sonic.
I'm waiting for Disney to finally cross that gap and put a lightsaber in Marvel.
Yeah.
Imagine like Wolverine with lightsaber claws. That's what it is. That's what they do.
I'm sure there's an awesome drawing of that somewhere.
If you can find it, tweet me that image.
I will. I'll pull it up.
Not you, the audience. I'm talking to an audience.
Okay.
You too. If you got that, I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen it before. Okay, there's a million pictures of this.
Is there? Oh, now I'm slightly disappointed.
Wolverine. Most of them are Photoshop jobs of Hugh Jackman.
Well, yeah, because no one knows. Because so many people don't realize that Wolverine is more than Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I'm slightly disappointed. There's like 80,000 of them.
Yeah. Oh well.
I mean, they kind of did it with his heat claws.
Yeah, they did. What wasn't there? Wasn't there like a Tron image or something where he had lightsaber claw? It doesn't matter. Anyway,
the best part about the heat claws, as a side note, is that they were hyped up to be the new thing. They didn't explain where they went. No, they just stopped using them.
No, and I remember Charles Soule being like, "Trust me, there's a really good reason why he has hot claws," and I'm like, "No, there won't. No, there isn't."
It's kind of like when they gave Superman the supernova power, and then they used it for like 8 years still. Like they were like, Wolverine's got new powers. We don't like him anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Joe Russo has explained the MCU currently doesn't have a firm plan in place for the future. Instead, Feige and the rest of the creative team simply have ideas in place, stating part of Feige's brilliance is there isn't really a plan. There's an idea. You can have a plan if a movie you can't have a plan if the movie you're making tanks. No plan after that. So I actually think this is true. Because if you look at what Marvel's doing, they're kind of testing the waters now.
They're trying everything. Yeah.
Yeah. They want to see what's the next thing that everyone latches onto. Mm-hmm. I think that's because like when they took over and put Thanos and Avengers and all that crap, that's what we all latched onto. But we haven't had that yet. Like
right. And I was fully expecting. I vividly remember Thanos being in the movie and being like, "There's no way." Like they're not going to do Thanos, and I think there was a possibility where they went like, yeah, sure, throw him in there, why not? And like if we ever get to it, cool, and if we don't, no one's going to complain.
Yeah.
So I think that's always been the case. Like I think that the Thanos saga the Infinity Saga only became a saga. Like there's no way in Avengers that the Cosmic Cube was an Infinity Stone until after they decided that Thanos is going to be the big bad.
Oh, they did all those retcons to make that function. Oh, the Cosmic Cube was an Infinity Stone. The staff was an Infinity Stone. Like they fixed all that later, and I agree.
Later,
what I think they're doing now is I think it's not as clear cut as he's making it sound here.
Yeah,
I think there is plans, right? But I think those plans are caveats on if this movie does this well, we're going to this movie, and if that movie does well, we're going to this movie, and that will be the saga.
Yes,
but if this movie tanks, that saga's out. We're doing this saga. We're going to try this one out. We're going to try this one out. So whatever one does the most sales next, I think is the next direction we're going in, which right now is looking like maybe multiversal stuff is where everyone's leaning to. So
that's multiverse I think that's the big buzzword of the day. We'll see what that means.
Right.
But I think Feige has an eye towards like an Infinity Saga movie, like a big, holy crap, no holds barred $400 million movie, but like how we get there will be determined by what people latch onto.
Right. Some of the comments said Joss Whedon never gets the credit he deserves. I mean, what we're saying is, are you saying that he planned for it to be an Infinity Stone that early?
No.
I highly doubt that because he wasn't even slotted in all the way to the end of the saga.
Yeah.
Not that early on.
The Wasp was in that movie before she wasn't. Like that movie is all over the place in terms of like concepts, ideas.
Yeah. Not in a bad way. That first Avengers movie was incredible.
Yeah.
But it was also set up to just end.
Yeah.
If that was the end of it. Yeah.
Like it is ridiculous that he put Thanos in at the end. Like that was his decision. Like it was like, wow, I can't believe you swung that far. Like I would have
Yeah,
gone,
yeah.
I would have gone smaller, but he went for it. Good for him.
Let's put the big purple guy. Someone will use him eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Right?
going back to the beginning of this episode. Chasm. They just chasmed up Thanos.
Chasm?
Here he is. Enjoy.
Here's Chasm. You're welcome.
All right. Moving on. We got DC Twitter's released a preview of Flashpoint Beyond. But so the new comic book series about Thomas Wayne going back to the Flashpoint universe, trying to figure out how he's there, as well as Bruce Wayne investigating the main timeline. Jeff Johns is writing it, and he tells us it's going to have huge ramifications.
Yeah, sure. Jeff, you're 2 for 2. You're 0 for 2, man.
Oh, ever since they half fired him, it hasn't been good.
No. Listen.
I don't remember what they half fired him for. They didn't really fire him. They were like, okay, Jeff.
He quit. He was chief creative officer or whatever, and then he stepped down.
Yeah.
I guess to make movies.
No,
and
he stepped out as chief creative officer to step into the movie side. When the movies tanked, him and 3 other people took the brunt of it.
Yeah.
They politely asked to leave their spots, but what they did was they all launched companies on the side that immediately got hired by WB and DC to do shit.
Yeah. I don't.
They loopholed their way back in,
right. And you can tell. Listen, Johns was a big mover and shaker at DC for a while. He dictated the line. When he was no longer in charge or had any executive power, they stopped caring. And when I say they, I mean everyone in the bullpen. Yeah, man.
I 100% agree, because I love the Jeff Johns era. I love it. I love everything.
It was incredible, and it was really going.
He is what hooked me in to be a true DC fan, as opposed to a guy that just reads Green Lantern and Batman. It was Jeff Johns putting it all together with Jim Lee that made me go, "This is fucking incredible!" I want to read all of this now. I don't want to just read Green Lantern and Batman.
Yeah. But now it's everybody else, and they're all in their little they're in their little groups. And then there's Johns just by himself making stuff like 3 Jokers. Here's something else, and no one works together. It's a real mess. It's a real mess over there.
Yep.
It shows.
About it,
no, we can't do anything about it. But DC needs someone in charge. DiDio.
You know what the big issue is? The big issue with this? Dan DiDio was in charge, and he had a lot of flack. And since he left, we haven't had anyone. No. And I feel like they're half giving the keys to people. They don't want to trust somebody in the level of Jeff Johns and Dan DiDio anymore. So Joshua, you could do whatever you want until you can't. James Tynion, you could do whatever you want until you can't.
Yeah. Well, he left. Tynion's F you. I got the
But
money.
what I'm saying is that's why I feel like he did that, because we were dealing with that.
Yeah, no. DC needs a DiDio again. And I don't mean they need DiDio to come back. I just had a wickedly terrible idea, and it would just be hire Jim Shooter. Make Jim Shooter the editor-in-chief.
That would be interesting. I'll give it that.
That would be unfriggin' believable. You know who would love that? Jim Shooter. But yeah, man. Good luck. Anyway.
So, all right. Next up. I mean, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Thomas Wayne, but I feel like the problem with Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman is he was a cool one-off idea, but the more you explore him, the more you ruin him. It's like Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
That was a great idea. And even his follow-up comic was great.
Yeah.
But the problem with the Batman Who Laughs is he's supposed to be the ultimate apex predator, Batman with Joker.
Yeah.
Every time he fails, that's less and less viable.
Yeah. No, he's not actually he's not very impressive anymore.
He's not a big threat when he's literally lost to random guys in Fortnite now.
That's true.
That's in canon. He's lost to The Rock. The Rock kicked his ass, Sal.
Great. That's canon.
I want to remind you how many times the Batman Who Laughs has failed.
Yeah.
He's not that scary anymore.
Well, that's just the nature of being a fictional character. but yeah.
But they could have Moriarty'd him, where it's he's a Moriarty, as well as Moriarty for Sherlock Holmes. He actually hasn't done that much to Holmes.
No.
He's had 1 or 2 big plans.
Right. He's a mastermind. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's what it is. You could have done so much more, but every time it's no, Batman Who Laughs wants to punch you. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's this folly, man.
And I feel like that's what's going to end up happening to Thomas Wayne, where it's just like
Thomas Wayne. Well, there's like multiple versions of him, like the button Thomas Wayne and the Tom
Rebirth
King
Thomas Wayne.
Wayne, Rebirth
Yeah.
Thomas Wayne, Flashpoint Thomas Wayne. Like there's 2 different Flashpoint universes. Like there's the button one that got unmade, and then there's the one that he technically is the Tom King version, but this is a different version from or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's the one from Arkham that like they locked away. I don't know.
Well, it has to be because, like, they probably did. They just lock him away at the end of City of Bane. He's just in a
they just lock him away. He's just in jail.
There's an alternate version of Bruce's dad, just in a cell, and we just haven't even referenced it since it happened.
Hey, here's a quick idea that regarding the Wayne fortune. What if Thomas Wayne took it? Isn't he technically the beneficiary?
Yeah, like I don't know. The whole thing is just. I don't know what to think about. They can make this good. They could make this really good. They could also 3 Jokers this.
Yeah. Listen, 3 Jokers looks incredible.
I stand by my statement. 3 Jokers was a great idea, and it was just a way for Jeff Johns to tell a Red Hood and Batman story.
Yep.
That's all it was.
It's great. By the way, the Joe Chill stuff was amazing in 3 Jokers. I loved it.
Everything about 3 Jokers I loved, except the 3 Jokers.
yeah, it's a little.
Everything around the 3 Jokers was an incredible read as a Batman, Red Hood, and Joe Chill fan. Like that, it was all great.
That was great. Yeah.
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 It's like saying everything about Batman's amazing except Batman.
Yeah. I'm a huge Batman fan, except for Batman.
Yeah. All right, so I've mentioned this a few times. I don't know if I've told you, Sal. Spider-Man 2099 is on its way back. We're getting Spider-Man 2099 Exodus, a 5-issue limited series written by Steve Orlando, where he's going to introduce a lot of the stuff. The plot is simple. Miguel is back in 2099. Something has gone wrong that requires him to save 2099, and he's going to go meet up with new versions of 2099 heroes like Ghost Rider, Doom, and all that.
Oh. I'd rather see
But it's in 2099.
Right. I'd rather see Miguel interact with the 2099 versions of those characters, like Ghost Rider and Doom and Hulk and stuff like that.
Well, apparently they got retconned out in one of the 2099 revamps.
Oh, man. I read I read 1 issue of Time Storm was like, F this. So I've never read another 2099 anything until now. So what happens. But yeah, the art looks great, by the way. I saw a preview of it. I'm like, Steve Orlando? Why not Peter David?
I know.
They're like, don't worry, 2099 is back, Spider-Man 2099 is back, and Steve Orlando's writing it. Like, what about the guy who's they hire to write Spider-Man, who invented that character, who was the only person who kept that entire line afloat?
And the only person who's ever told stories about him where he acts like Spider-Man 2099.
Right?
Because he created him.
Yeah. Weird. I mean, I like Orlando.
While I think it's weird,
I
do like Orlando, and that's what I think. I think this had to be one hell of a pitch.
Yeah.
You got to think, like, if they did pick him and didn't do a Peter David story, this is probably one hell of a pitch.
Yeah. I hope it is. It better be.
Oh, I love Miguel O'Hara. He was like,
like
back when I was collecting comic books, it was Spider-Man 2099. I still remember being my first big #1 issue that I bought. You know what I mean? Like, this is mine. Oh my God, it's gonna be worth so much money. It's not, but
no, not yet. Maybe Into the Spider-Verse 2 will help.
Maybe. But that is all of our news, Sal.
Yeah, we did it.
We did
another episode down.
Another episode down. Another one in the dust. But yeah, all right. Well, thank you for watching Absolute Comics. Don't forget to check out Comicstorian, Absolutely Marvel and DC, Comic Pop. Check out all the ancillary projects we're doing here. Hope you guys enjoyed today. And don't forget, all of this show stays live and keeps going through your support. So if you want to keep this show on the air, consider giving us a Twitch subscription or going on over to our Patreon or any of those number of things. The Patreon is this Comicstorian and Comic Pop, 2 separate ones. I know it's a little confusing. Maybe one day we'll fix that, but we don't care that much. We'd prefer you just sub here on Twitch because we know directly that goes to this. So
that's right.
Easiest way to quantify. But either way, thank you so much. And if you're listening to us on SoundCloud or iTunes, make sure you please, if you enjoy the show, give us a good review. Let everyone know that we kind of know what we're talking about once in a while.
Please, yeah, those matter.
So thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time right here.